Shoulders. Arm and choke. Lock those fingers. Lock those fingers, Brad. Lock those fingers. Here we go. We're on, Brad. Follow him.
Climbs up here. Climbing up would be easier with the gi, but still possible here. And I think with those legs triangled, yeah, Spacek solid writing on the wall there. Ooh, a nice transition. Crucifix here. This is dangerous. This is really dangerous. I think that Bradley might not have an underhook here.
The choke is on.
Nice.
Hey, I'm Brad Schneider. I'm an instructor here at Adamas Jiu-Jitsu with Dante Leone, and we're recently in the Pedigo Submission Fighting Network for Daisy Fresh. Happy to be part of the team. I wanted to take this opportunity to show you some of my favorite stuff. We're going to go over the Crucifix double attack. So I'm going to have Hunter here in the Crucifix position. And a lot of times, like, people ask whether I have my top leg over the arm first or my bottom leg, and like, what's the benefits and disadvantages of both. The way I like to think of it, bottom leg is more for control, not to say that there aren't submissions from there, and top leg is more for offense, going after submissions. So we're going to start with the first half of the double attack, which is going to be the arm bar. So when I'm attacking the arm, if I don't have a way to keep his wrist angled down, he's going to start bridging and running his arm up, and it's going to make it difficult for me to attack. So while he's doing that, I follow him, and I'm going to get my heel above his wrist, and I'm going to bring everything back to the middle. So this works just like any other arm bar. I need the fulcrum right above his elbow, and I need to keep his shoulder and his wrist under control. The shoulder is going to be controlled by way of my seatbelt, and the wrist is going to be controlled by me pulling my heels to my butt and making an X over his wrist. From here, it's pretty simple. I'm going to keep my heels tight to my butt as I pull my knees away from my body. This is going to extend his arm and stretch his arm over the fulcrum. So as I do this, a lot of times this is where the double attack comes in. He's going to bridge to take pressure off the arm bar. As he bridges, you'll notice there's space between his chin and his chest that I can start using and start bringing myself back in to get under the chin for the choke. Now, my preferred grip when I'm attacking the choke is to grab behind my head. This is important because it keeps his shoulder in the same spot, and I'm anchoring in above his shoulder. So if I don't have this and his shoulder's free, maybe I'm grabbing his wrist or something, he's able to shrink this side down and it takes pressure off of the choke. So I bring this in, I get my hand behind my head, and I'm going to put my shoulder under the crown of his head, wrist comes through, shoulder comes forward for the finish. Now let's say we're initiating the attack with the choke first. I have to get under his chin. If he's hunkered down here, he's got his chin glued to his chest, I need to find a way under there. So I'm gonna make a little ridge with my thumb, and I'm gonna find right where his jaw starts, I'm gonna jam that ridge in there. Now I'm gonna do itty bitty finger push-ups until I can walk my way down. And instead, a lot of times the crucifix choke is taught by grabbing onto the shoulder. This can work, but I find I lose a little bit of space as well. It's easier for him if he gets his hand free to start peeling my hand off. So what I wanna do is I make my hand wrap around his neck, and I cover the back of my hand with my chin. This way, when I start pulling in for the choke, it's really hard for him to hand fight. So let's get another angle real quick for the armbar. As he starts to bridge up to try to clear this, I follow him and I catch his wrist, and then I'm gonna extend and bring him back to the middle. From here, my heels are tight to my butt, my hip is just above his elbow, and I know that his thumb is pointed in this direction because I've steered his wrist down to the mat. As I extend away, I get the tap, and then from here, if he's trying to defend the armbar, bring himself up in a bridge, he's opening his neck, I can steer him back in, start cinching in my grip, and rowing my shoulder and elbow forward to finish the choke. So that's pretty much it for the double attack. This is one of the more fundamental attacking positions from the Crucifix. These are the two essential submissions that you need to be successful from that position. So continuing on with the Crucifix double attack, we're gonna start with the arm bar. So a lot of people ask which leg is better for control when attacking the Crucifix, and I like to think of it two ways. Bottom leg I'm using for control and stabilizing position, and the top leg is for offense and submissions. So when I'm trying to attack the armbar, if I only have one leg involved, it's easy for my opponent to start running his arm up, trying to hide his wrist, right? As he does this, I want to follow him, and I want to bring my heel over his wrist, and then use the pressure from my heels to steer him back to the middle. For the armbar, it works like any other armbar. I want to isolate his shoulder, isolate his wrist, and then put pressure through a fulcrum under his elbow. So from here, my heels are pulling in tight. My bottom side leg is pushing his wrist to the mat. And I'm going to extend my knees away from my chest as I keep my heels tight to my butt for the finishing pressure for the armbar. Now, as I attack the armbar, common for my opponent here to start bridging to take pressure off of it. When this happens, he's creating space between his chin and his chest, and that's going to make it easier to start attacking the choke. Right? From here, preferred grip for me to finish the choke is going to be grabbing behind the back of the head. This helps keep his shoulder in the same place, and since I'm anchoring on his shoulder, it's going to make it easier to finish the choke. If I just grab his wrist here, as I'm attacking the choke, he might be able to shrink his shoulder down, and it creates space and makes it a little bit harder to finish. So I keep everything tight here. I'm going to wrap my hand through. My chin is covering my choke, and I'm going to pull my elbow back so my shoulder stays forward. This is going to be pulling across the trachea, so it's really uncomfortable, but it eventually turns into a blood choke. So let's say my opponent's not bridging and giving me the space on his own. His chin's tight to his chest. I'm going to make a ridge with my thumb, and I'm going to put the ridge right at the start of his jawbone. From here, I'm pushing it in heavy, and I start doing little push-ups with my fingers until I get all the way through. Now, instead of anchoring on his shoulder like the choke is conventionally taught, this gives a little more space and it makes it harder to finish. So what I want to do is I want to wrap my palm behind his neck and I push my chin in really heavy. From here, same finish, I'm pulling my elbow and pushing my shoulder to get the tap. So that about wraps it up for the double attack from the Crucifix. I feel like this is one of the most fundamental things you need to know if you're going to be attacking someone from that position. And this is just an intro into everything Crucifix related for the Pedago channel. Outside of that, if you want to check out more, I have an instructional on BJJ Fanatics, Crucifier under Bradley Schneider. Check it out. Thank you.